What is going on, Internet world? My name is Tommy. You probably know me as Rivet, and I'm your coach of the Atlanta Braviaries, the highest flying fly-second team on YouTube. We are here today with our Week 2 battle of the PCC Sapphire Division against Coach Tempest and the Brisbane Brelooms. This is going to be a great match. Welcome to the workshop. Alrighty guys, we are here breaking down our Week 2 matchup for the PCC Sapphire Division against Coach Tempest in the Brisbane Brelooms. He's got a really strong team and he's a very scary battler, but I think we have a pretty solid squad to take him on this week. His first Pokemon is Celesteela, an incredibly bulky steel and flying type with the Beast Boost ability. It's capable of doing so many great things. It can run offensive sets and defensive sets incredibly well. It can run Meteor Beam sweeping sets with Power Herb. It can also autotomize up, and it's got a very good move pool of stuff like Heavy Slam, Flash Cannon, Earthquake, Air Slash, Giga Drain, Flamethrower. It can also run defensive sets incredibly well with its massive bulk and great defensive typing, in conjunction with moves like Leech Seed and Protect as well. So, probably expecting Celesteela this week. I don't have a whole lot that handles it. I have a couple breaking options, but it can just wear down my team incredibly easily. I don't have a whole lot that wants to switch in repeatedly to it, and Leech Seed is very solid against my team. Obviously, Pharaoh would be kind of solid for that, but it does get Flamethrower. He'll definitely be carrying it, so Pharaoh isn't safe on that thing at all, and I definitely can't risk it. The next up is Salamence, an incredibly strong and versatile dragon and flying type with the Intimidate and Moxie abilities. It runs, again, offensive and defensive sets incredibly well. It's an incredibly threatening Dragon Dance sweeper with moves like Dual Wing Beat, Earthquake, Dragon Claw, Outrage, Flamethrower, Fire Fang. It just gets a whole bunch of good moves. It can roost for longevity, it can defog hazards away, and it can run defensive sets with Intimidate very well as well. It can also wish past to other mons, and with heavy duty boots, it's just a reliable defensive pivot. So in this match, I probably would expect a Dragon Dance set. I think Dragon Dance has a lot of viability. I think I could also see a more defensive set, maybe with like Roost, Defog, Flamethrower, and Dual Wing Beat, something of the sort. But either way, I still definitely think Salamence comes, and it will be a hassle. Next up is Tapu Bulu, a very strong grass and fairy type with the Grassy Surge ability. It's an incredibly strong wall breaker with stuff like Wood Hammer and Terrain. It also gets Horn Leech to get some recovery back. It gets a great coverage move pool with stuff like Close Combat, High Horsepower, Zen Headbutt, Superpower as well. It can Swords Dance up, it can set Leech Seed and Synthesis for recovery, and it can do a couple other things as well. So Tapu Bulu, probably expecting again this week. Again, the stuff that I would have to check it like Ferrothorn definitely doesn't want to come this match just because everything in his team seems to learn a fire move. And so I have a couple of decent options for it. Something like Drapion can try to take it on as best I can, but probably still expecting Bulu this match. Next up is Galarian Slowbro, a very bulky poison and psychic type with the Regenerator ability. Could also see Quick Draw if he's feeling cheesy. It's a very solid Assault Vest user with its good 100 attack and special attack, and very respectable bulk with solid HP. It's got a great move pool of stuff like Shell Sidearm, Psychic, Psyshock, Future Sight, Flamethrower, Scald, Ice Beam, Thunderbolt, Drain Punch. It just gets a whole bunch of stuff. It can set up with Nasty Plot and Calm Mind. It can Trick Room and be offensive. It can do a whole bunch of things. So Galarian Slowbro, I could see in this match. I think that an Assault Vest set has some viability just because there's a bunch of stuff in my team that can't break it. I could also see a Trick Room set to work in conjunction with this Stakataka and put on a whole bunch of pressure because my team doesn't super love a Trick Room option, so definitely have to be wary of Galarian Slowbro. But I think he probably has a couple other things that he brings in instead, but could definitely still see it. Next up is the aforementioned Stakataka, an incredibly threatening rock and steel type with the Beast Boost ability. Got absolutely monstrous defense at 211 and very strong attacks at 131 as well. It's one of the most potent Trick Room threats in the game, capable of just cleaning and thrashing teams in 4 turns if it gets a Trick Room off with the conjunction of Gyro Wall and Beast Boost. It also gets very solid other moves such as Stone Edge and Heat Crash and Zen Headbutt as well. So I definitely think Stakataka has a lot of viability. I think in every matchup you just kind of have to prep for it. I have a couple decent answers to it, but I still think it probably comes just because it puts on a ton of pressure against some of my bigger threats like Tornadus Therian and Blacephalon. It can run through Ferrothorn with stuff like Heat Crash, and then the stuff that I kind of have to answer, something like Hitmontop can do a decent chunk. He can still thrash me with something like a big Gyro Ball or Zen Headbutt or something of the sort. So I could also see a more defensive set, just like a Stealth Rocking, maybe Iron Defense Body Press set, which would be very scary. So if Stakataka comes, I have to be incredibly wary of how I play around it, just so I don't lose to it in the late game. Next up is Cofagrigus, a very bulky ghost type with the Mummy ability. Again, it's got very strong defense at base 145, I believe, and very solid special defense at a base 105 as well. It's got solid special attack, which it can boost up with Calm Mind and Nasty Plot at base 95. Again, it's another Trick Room option for him, and it can do a whole bunch of other things. It's another great Iron Defense Body Press user. It can Willow Hex, it can Pain Split for recovery, it can set Toxic Spikes, which is pretty cool, which this team enjoys, and it can do a couple other things. So Koff in this match, not really sure if it comes. I think he's got a bunch of other things on this team that are more threatening, and it kind of gets run through by some of my more offensive threats, like Tornadus, Celesteela. It doesn't take on Snarmy particularly well, so I think he's got a couple other mons that he would rather bring this week. Next up is Gastrodon, a very bulky water and ground type with the Storm Drain and Sticky Hold abilities. Definitely expecting Gastro this week, as it is really only answer to Blacephalon. It's very bulky with 111 in HP, I believe, and then 82 in special defense, with a pretty solid move pool, stuff like Scald, Earthquake, and Earth Power, Recover, Toxic. It can do a couple other different things. Maybe if he's feeling cheesy, he'll bring some like Amnesia Recover set to try to take on Blaze, but I think probably just Scald, Earthquake, Recover, and Toxic is solid this match. Next up is Mega Camerupt, another incredibly potent Trick Room threat with the Sheer Force ability and base 145 special attack. Moves like Fire Blast and Earth Power hit incredibly hard coming off that thing. It also gets other solid moves such as Rock Slide and Flash Cannon as well. Probably expecting Mega Camerupt this week. I don't have a whole lot that switches into repeated moves from this thing. I can just see like something like a bulky Stealth Rocking variant, or maybe something like a Trick Room, or maybe just a Trick Room offensive set to take advantage of the Trick Room from Stakataka or Slowbro. So I think I have a kind of okay answer to it, but I got to make sure I keep it healthy, because otherwise I'm not taking multiple Fire Blasts under Trick Room if I have a little bit of chip on me. Next up is Rotom Fan, a very cool flying and electric type with the Levitate ability. It's very versatile and does a whole bunch of things very well. It's got a very solid defensive typing that can run with more defensive sets, such as like Willow sets. It can defog and Pain Split. It can also run Nasty Plot sets very well, or Choice Specs or Choice Scarf with a pretty solid dual stab and Thunderbolt and Air Slash. Again, not really expecting a Rotom Fan this week. I think he's got a bunch of other things that have to come to check some stuff in. What it would check in something like Tornadus Therian, I could be running a Nasty Plot set of my own and run it through with something like a Psychic or something. So not really expecting Rotom this week, but if it does come, I believe I have the tools for it. Next up is Excelgor, a very cool bug type with 145 base speed and a whole bunch of different things you can do. It's a very scary Final Gambit threat. It can run something like Choice Scarf, Final Gambit, and just kind of nuke something from turn 1, which is something I have to watch out for. It's also a very potent Spikes lead with Spikes and Toxic Spikes. It can run stuff like Sludge Bomb, Water Shuriken, Giga Drain, and Bug Buzz as well with something like Choice Specs, as it is fairly strong in that regard. Not really expecting Excelgor this week. If it comes, I would have bet it's probably a Final Gambit set to try to nuke something like Tornado straight off the bat. I do have Blacephalon. I'll have to watch out for something like a Water Shuriken though, because that would do a lot, or just something like a Specs Bug Buzz. That would be pretty scary, because as you'll see, I really need Blacephalon this match. So definitely scared of Excelgor. I hope it doesn't come, but if it does, I hope I'll be able to play around it. And then last but not least, he's got Smeargle. Smeargle is capable of doing pretty much anything, and this team really benefits from it. It can run stuff like Trick Room for his Trick Room offensive mons. It can run stuff like Sticky Webs to just speed up the team at another aspect. It can set various hazards. It can do a whole bunch of stuff. It can Thunder Wave, do pretty much everything under the sun. But regardless, I don't really think Smeargle comes. Tempest and I think we know each other fairly well, and I don't think Tempest thinks he'll be able to like pull one over on me with Smeargle. So I don't think Smeargle comes. If it does, I have the tools for it, but otherwise, I think he's got some better mons to fill the slots this week. But with all that out of the way, let's hop into what I'm bringing this match. Leading us off, we are rocking Revelation 19 Big Tornadus Therian coming again this week with a defensive Rocky Helmet set this week with the Regenerator ability, Air Slash, Heat Wave, U-Turn, and Taunt, 248 in HP with 88 in speed. This lets me outspeed fully invested Salamence, and then 172 in defense. This is one of my better answers to coming against Celesteela. Obviously, I can't do a whole lot, especially if he's like fully specially defensive. Heat Wave is doing negligible damage. It only does up to like 30%. But the goal for this is just to absorb Leech Seeds, pivot out into something else that can do damage to Steela, and try to chip it down with like Rocky Helmet damage on heavy slams or something of the sort. I won't be taking a whole lot from Flamethrowers. Earthquakes, obviously, I'm not taking anything. So I got to try to chip that thing down, manage its longevity, just because it's such a hassle this week, and I don't have a whole lot that switches in comfortably and can do big damage. I really only have one thing that can do that, but it's very susceptible to Leech Seed and Toxic if he's carrying that, so I have to play this carefully. So Torn is just a solid loop piece this week. It pivots around the team fairly nicely and can taunt various things on this team that want to try to set up. He's got a ton of setup threats, so I'm really liking Taunt. Just to try to stop that, I can stop Stack from doing a whole bunch of things. If I take a big Stone Edge instead, then sometimes that might be worth it just to make sure I don't lose, especially if one of my other checks goes down. This is also a decent answer to Bulu. He'll probably be carrying Stone Edge. I am very defensive, so unless he's like Choice Band, I don't think it'll kill me, but I gotta watch out for that, make sure he's not Choice Band so I don't lose Rev too early in the game. Next up, we are rocking Disco Daddio, the Blacephalon, making his debut this week with a Choice Spec set with the Beast Boost ability, Fire Blast, Shadow Ball, Flamethrower, and Toxic, 252 in special attack, and 200 in speed with the Timid Nature. This again lets me outspeed fully invested Salamence, and then the rest thrown into bulk. He does not have good answers for Disco Daddio this week. This is my main wall breaking tool, and it's an absolute crucial piece for this match. I need this to break Celesteela. I need this to break various other things on his team. So Gastro is definitely coming for this. I got to make sure I get a Shadow Ball prediction right on that thing coming in, just because I really can't afford to like Shadow Ball into Steal and have him click Earthquake or something of the sort, and I'll go down. The big key this week is pivoting into Daddio on that Steela, because I can't really switch this thing like straight into Steela just because I am a Blacephalon. I'm incredibly weak, and something like even just a Heavy Slam does over half. So I have to be really careful of how I play this thing, but I have to get this thing in. Specs Fire Blast just completely OHKOs, even fully specially defensive Steela. Shadow Ball does a ton to everything else. His normal type is Smeargle, which doesn't want to take a Fire Blast or a Flamethrower. And then I've got Toxic on here for going into Gastrodon. It's a little bit safer. I considered Psyshock, but if he's like mixed defensive, then that's not a really good option. And I like if we're just chipping down the team. I also don't want to give it a Specs just in case he is rocking Scald and Earth Power, and otherwise that would do a decent chunk to the rest of my team, and I would lose a whole bunch of damage output. So liking the Toxic option, but honestly, this thing is just going to be spamming Fire Blast and Shadow Ball this entire game. I hope I can keep it around. I really have to, because I need this to put on a bunch of pressure. His team is very slow and very defensive, and I need Daddio to break it down, because otherwise I don't have a lot of good options, and I definitely don't want this to turn into like some stall war that I lose eventually. Next up, we are rocking Desert Storm the Flygon against Storm, coming with another defensive set this week with the Leftovers and Levitatability. Earth Power, Fire Blast, U-Turn, and Roost. 248 in HP with 144 in speed. This lets me outspeed fully invested Rotom Fan, and then 48 in special attack and 68 in special defense. My special defense investment guarantees a 3-shot from fully invested Mega Camerupt Fire Blast after Stealth Rock. So even if he gets Trick Room up, I can Roost Stall that thing. Unless he boosts up in some way, I don't think he can, but I can Roost Stall that off until Trick Room is gone. I can threaten it pretty hard with an Earth Power. I can U-turn out on it. This is another kind of decent answer to coming against Stakataka. I'm resisting that Stone Edge and Heat Crash, so he can't just click that on a prediction. Gyro Ball obviously would just kind of thrash me, especially if he's like Life Orb or boosted up, but I threaten that thing pretty hard with Earth Power. I definitely don't want to bring Earthquake this week because that thing is just so bulky on the physical side, and also we do have Tapu Bulu's Terrain sitting there, so running Earth Power and Fire Blast. This week Fire Blast is obviously there for that Steela. It also hits Tapu Bulu coming in if he wants to be a little bit risky. I can U-turn out on something like Gastrodon coming in, same thing with Gothagrigus, and then Rotom as well. So really liking Storm this week. I needed to keep that Camerupt in check and just pivot around this team. Again, this is a pretty solid option to try to get me into Daddio on a couple things coming in to handle me, so I really like that option. Next up, we are rocking Snippet the Drapion again. Snippet running a more offensive set this week with the Shuckerberry and Battle Armor ability. Knock off Ice Fang, Swords Dance, and Taunt. 252 in attack, 184 in speed with the Jolly Nature, and then the rest run into bulk. This again lets me outspeed fully invested a Rotom Fan. Knockoff is very super spammable in this match. He only has one Dark Resist, and it's that Tapu Bulu. He won't want to bring that in against Snippet, obviously. If I were rocking Poison Jab or Cross Poison or something of the sort, I would just absolutely body that thing. But I'm running Ice Fang and Swords Dance and Taunt instead. I think that he'll be wary of that. Once he finds out I don't have Poison Jab, he'll be able to play it a little bit better. But a +2 Ice Fang still does a lot. But this is just a solid wall breaking tool this week. I can try to just set up in front of Steela. He can't do too much to me. I can taunt him to stop him from setting up seeds, and then I can try to set up to like +4. A knockoff will do a good bunch. Ice Fang does a ton to Salamence, and I do have the Shuckerberry. My Shuckerberry is there for something like an Earthquake coming off Salamence, so I can clock that thing with an Ice Fang. It's also there for Tapu Bulu, so I can try to switch in on that, eat something like a high horsepower if he goes, and then scare him off, maybe try to set up. So I'm really liking that option, and then Taunt is just good, again, for various things. If Stack wants to come in, I can eat something like an Earthquake if he goes for it with my Shuckerberry. I can taunt him to make sure that he doesn't get Trick Room up. I can knock off his Life Orb. I can do a couple other things just to make the lives of everything else better on my team. So I'm really liking Snippet this match. It's a pretty solid offensive presence and just a general support tool as well, so I hope he does some good work. Next up, making his PCC debut, we are rocking Kial the Hitmontop. Kial is rocking a defensive Intimidate set this week with the Leftovers. He's rocking Close Combat, Triple Axle, Mach Punch, and Rapid Spin. Fully physically defensive. This is my primary switch into Stakataka. Stakataka is incredibly scary. I don't have a whole lot for it, but the combination of Intimidate, Priority, and just fully physically defensive, it's my best option to switch in against it. -1 Life Orb fully invested Stakataka is only doing approximately like mid 40% with Gyro Ball. I can close combat that thing into the ground. If I don't kill for some reason, I can Mach Punch it on the next turn. Triple Axle is there for going into things like Tapu Bulu and Salamence that would want to come in on me. And then Rapid Spin is for getting rid of any hazards he might want to set with something like Stakataka or that Mega Camerupt or something of the sort. So I really need Kial to keep that Stakataka in check. If it doesn't come, then Kial is a little bit more useless. He'll probably be a dedicated switch in to something like Salamence or Tapu Bulu to try to get an Intimidate off and try to threaten with Axel. All right, if he goes down, then that'll be okay, because this thing is primarily here so I don't lose to Stakataka. I have to prep for it, because if I don't and I just lose to it, then I will never forgive myself. So with all that said, let's go. Let's keep moving on, I guess. And then last but not least, also making his debut, we are rocking Zigglerocks the Electric, good old Ziggy, coming with an Assault Vest set this week with the Levitate ability, Volt Switch, Giga Drain, Aqua Tail, and Knockoff, 248 in HP, 224 in special attack with the Quiet nature, and then 36 in attack. My attack investment guarantees an OHKO on fully HP invested Mega Camera up after Stealth Rocks with Aqua Tail. Volt Switch is just solid for pivoting around this team. It also does a decent chunk to Celesteela, especially if he's not specially defensive investment. Giga Drain is there for that Gastrodon, obviously, and then Knockoff is there for Galarian Slowbro. If he's like Assault Vest, specially defense invested, he takes on pretty much this entire team very well. So I have to be able to knock off that thing's AV if it comes. It's also just solid for removing any items around this team, just general utility, and smacking that thing for good damage as well. So I'm really liking Ziggy. This is one of my better switch-ins to just try to come in right away against Celesteela. I don't super love that option because he can Leech Seed me, he can protect, I'll lose a bunch of health, I won't be able to do a whole lot. But Ziggy is a great pivoting option this week just because Volt Switch is pretty free against this team. The stuff that would try to come in and absorb Volt Switch get absolutely demolished by Giga Drain and Aqua Tail respectively. So even if they don't kill it, they'll do a crap ton, and that'll make the lives of everything else, specifically Daddio. If I can get a huge hit on Gastrodon or Camera Up, Daddio is just going to look super good to start spamming some Fire Blast. So really like that option. But so that is the team we are rocking with for this match. This is definitely going to be a really scary battler. Tempest is a very strong battler, and I know he wants to win this one. I did beat him in the finals of the last season, and he's very strong. He's out for blood, but I'm gonna try my best, and this is going to be a great battle regardless. So with all that out of the way, let's hop into this match. Alrighty, guys, we're about to hop into this Week 2 match of the PCC Sapphire Division against Coach Tempest in the Brisbane Brelooms. You can see the 6 I expect him to bring up on the screen. Celesteela, Salamence, Tapu Bulu, Stakataka, Gastrodon, and that Mega Camera Up. I could definitely also see that Galarian Slowbro or that Excelgor thrown in there as well. But you've seen the 6 I am bringing and why I am bringing them. If you haven't, go check out the team builder. But with all that out of the way, let's hop into this match. Okay, we do see Excelgor and Koff over Mence and Bulu. Okay. Excelgor I'm not surprised by at all. I wonder what Koff's job is. You could definitely be like Kasib Berry to take a hit from Blacephalon. So I'll have to keep that in mind. Okay, from a lead perspective, I would probably just expect him to lead Excelgor. Man, that thing is definitely Final Gambit. Oh my god, I hate Excelgor. I had Protect on Kyall, I got rid of it. But I probably should have kept it so I could have scouted for that. Because realistically, if I lead Daddio on Excelgor nuking me, and he goes for Water Shuriken instead and kills me, the game is over. Also, he's using the bad Gastrodon, so in my brain I've already won. Just kidding, of course. This thing also gets knockoff, so switching into Blaze definitely isn't safe on Final Gambit. I don't know how I want to handle this. I need everything on this team. I think my sack would be Snippet. I need Snippet the least because I don't see Bulu. I don't see Mence. I need Hitmontop. I need Blacephalon. I need Storm. I need Ziggy. Yeah. I think if I think I just want to lead Snippet. I can taunt something else. If he nukes me with Final Gambit, then I think I'm okay with that. And if he leads Camera Up to set rocks, then I can pivot into Storm. So I'm gonna lead Snippet. I'm gonna feign like I'm a Toxic Spiking set. Let's do this. Yup. Oh, okay. Well, you're either gonna set spikes or obliterate me. If I were to bet you're gonna obliterate me, I could switch it to Daddio, but if he knocks off, I lose the game, man. If I take a 1-for-1 trade on Snippet, what happens? Because realistically, Snippet's not taking on Steela nor He doesn't take on anything on this team except for Cough, and that thing could be like Colberberry Body Press or something else. And I have ways to deal with Cough. I'm going to click Knock Off and see what you do. You're either going to Final Gambit, set spikes, or pivot into Camerons. But I'm not going to take the risk you knock off into Blacephalon on Final Gambit. Yep, there it is. Alright, well, I knew that was coming. I should have gone to Blaze, but that's fine. I'll handle that later. So now I can go into Daddy-O and put on pressure. I can go into Ziggy and pivot. I like the Ziggy play. Ziggy hits everything. I can pivot around. I can do some stuff. So losing Snippet is... It's not the end of the world, I don't think. That was definitely my least useful member, so I'm okay with that play, but at the same time, I hate that. Oh man, Final Gambit, so scary. But yeah, that's alright. We're gonna go into Ziggy here. We're gonna try to get on the front foot. Cough's gonna come out. Alright, I can do a couple different things. I can knock off, I can Volt Switch. I think I like knock off. I can knock off a berry if you've got it to make Blaze's life easier. So you can Willow me or Body Press. Neither is super bad, and then I can Volt Switch afterwards. So let's see what you go for. I am AV. If he goes for Shadow Ball, I won't do anything if you set Toxic Spikes. Because I lost my Grounded Poison. That would also be bad. That's also a decent play. If that was his plan all along, that was a good one. But I can get those out of there later with Kyall. And then, I mean, Torn, Flygon, and Ziggy don't care, so... Go for a nice little knockoff here. But Ziggy should outspeed everything on this team except for Steela. And Steela I threaten pretty hard, so. Because he can like pivot around and try to not get hit by moves and set lead seeds and try to heal up the team. But alright, we're gonna knock off. I'm gonna lose my Levitate. Get rid of there's the Kasib Berry. Saw that coming. And I have a couple different options here. I can Aqua Tail into Camerupt and Stack coming out. You could do something else. Volt Switch I don't want to do. But I am going to click Aqua Tail on Camerupt coming out. Oh, he's going to Calm Mind. Oh, shit. Alright, okay. That's interesting. Well, I've revealed... Aqua Tail. That's fine. I'm interested as to... Are you Rest? Are you like... I don't know what this thing is. Because you're definitely not invested. How in the hell did that do so much? I couldn't tell you how that did so much. Unless you've got, like, no HP investment, that doesn't make any sense. You're +1. Volt Switch? I don't know. I'm gonna click Knock Off again. Pain Split? Okay. I'm gonna click Knock Off again, and then I'm gonna Volt Switch. Shadow Ball. And you can... I'm either going to lose Ziggy here, or he clicks Pain Split. Oh, crap. This was a good set. Damn, what the hell? Shit. This is a 50-50. I can also go into Rev. If I go into Rev, he's going to get Trick Room back up again, though. I gotta stay in Volt Switch. I'm gonna lose Ziggy, yeah. That's tragic. Alright. Daddy-O's coming out. I gotta click Shadow Ball. This is going very poorly. I've lost Electros to this Cough, which I didn't expect this at all. And that means that getting rid of the rest of this team is going to be incredibly difficult. Incredibly difficult. Man. Shoutouts to Tempest. That was a great set. That completely ruined everything. All of my plans. Because Drapion would have been able to handle that set, no problem. I could have set up all over its face. He wouldn't have been able to touch me. But I killed him to freaking Final Gambit. well, this is not good. This is going horribly. I'm going to need Daddy-O to put in ungodly amounts of work. I don't know how many times, because he's going to get various other opportunities to set up Trick Room. And now I'm definitely going to regret. Alright, Daddy-O's going to come off. Shadow Ball's going to pick it off. Actually, I got a Beast Boost. Let's see how much I do to other things on this team. Because if I can stay in and click Shadow Ball a billion more times, I'm going to do it. Because your team is piss slow, my dude. Celesteela can definitely take one. Like a +1 Shadow Ball. And he'll kill me with EQ. If he's got it. I don't know if he's got it, though. Gastro is going to come out. Yeah, EQ kills this thing. I got to go into Rev. And you can Scald, but you can do a couple of different things. I'm going to Taunt so you can't Toxic me. Also, if you go into Stack, this keeps you from doing a couple different things. And then I'm going to U-turn. No Yawn. Okay. Same difference. And I'm going to click Air Slash. 22. Scald. 26. He burned me. Whatever. This thing is physically defensive. I would have killed this thing probably with 26. Yeah, he's like fully physically defensive. I gotta get into Daddy-O because next time, oh, man, that's insanely tragic. Click Air Slash again. Got flinch. I have no safe switch into this thing though. I'm going to U-turn this time. He's going to recover. So maybe I want to click Taunt. Losing Ziggy was terrible. I needed Ziggy for Gastro. I needed Ziggy for Camera Up too. Dude, had I just stayed in... I can't believe this thing is physically defensive. Had I stayed in, I probably would have killed this thing with Shadow Ball. I was specced. It was a roll, but I had a decent chance. And Earth Power wouldn't have killed me. I want to check that to see how much I hate myself. Earth Power literally did 99.6 max. I probably would have picked up the game had I just stayed in and clicked Shadow Ball. I'm devastated, but what are you going to do? I'm going to taunt you so you can't recover. I have to chip this thing down to allow Daddy-O to do some good work. Alright, Stack comes out this time. Like U-turn. Alright, U-turn's gonna come off. I gotta go into Kial. See what he goes for. He's gonna go straight for Gyro Ball. Good job, Kial. Way to gobble that up. And I gotta click CC. But Kial doing a very nice job eating that up. I think that was a max roll and just... I don't know what you are, actually, because... Wait, what? Read? I did 40? Okay, so you're probably just like a berry? You like Chapel? No. You are whatever the steel boosting item is. Metal Coat? Yeah, you have to be Metal Coat. That means the CC has a solid chance to kill. I don't think you'll throw away Stack. I think you're just going to go straight into Steel, but that's going to give me a pivoting option. I'll probably go into Flygon. But I got to see how much Steel is going to take from this. Probably not a lot because it's Steela. But I'll be able to calculate investment on that guy. If he's like HP invested, no defense, this will do approximately 30%. If Steela comes in. If he stays in, he'll probably die. If he doesn't die, I can pick it off with Mach Punch next turn. Or, I mean, it's CC, obviously. He's not on the trigger. Yep, Steela comes out. Let's see what I do. 33. Yeah, he's fully specially defensive. I gotta go into Rev. He's gonna click Seeds. I gotta U-turn into Blaze. And pray he doesn't click Earthquake. Because Gary the Gastrodon over there, I don't think takes too far west. I really don't. He was physically defensive. I cannot believe I saw Fizz Def in my mock too, and I couldn't tell you why. Alright, Rev's gonna come out here. Oh, he just goes straight for Flash Cannon? Oh shit. Alright. Alright, maybe this thing is like AV. Like 4 attacks, because that did a lot. 41, yeah, he's like fully invested, like quiet. This was probably another Trick Room offensive threat. Question is, do I Heat Wave this thing for damage? I'm going to click Heat Wave. It's going to give me some investment on this. I'll see what its deal is. If he's like, if he's Assault Vest, this is going to do negligible damage, but I'll find that out, and then I can try to get into Daddy-O and do some work. I can also go into Kial and click CC again, but it's going to give me some intel. And what I pray happens is you overpredict and you go for Earthquake into Daddy-O. I'm going to click Heat Wave. But I need to see something on this, because this was my Steela check, and if you're not going to like Leech Seed and be annoying, then I got to get some damage on you. Heat Wave comes off. 41, he's not AV, he's something else. I lived it, but I'm going to die to burn. Okay. Man, that 30% Scald Burn. No bueno. But this Steela is not AV. I don't know what you are. Maybe Akaberry. But I'm going to go into Blacephalon. And I'm going to click Shadow Ball. There's no way that you... I'm gonna at least be able to pick this thing off. I can also go into Kial. The question of, is this too early to steamroll with Blaze? You were like fully HP, fully special attack. I'm gonna assume quiet because you were a Trick Room threat. You could have also been autotomized with bulk, but Blaze definitely picks up this kill. He'll get up to +1. Mega Camerups can come out. And he would definitely, he would live one depending on his investment. If Stakataka came out, he would die. If Gastrodon came out, he would die. So I'm going to... Disco will pick up this kill. It's going to force him into Cam. I'm going to switch into Storm and pivot. Or I can just click EP and then pivot. But that's my play. We're going to go into Daddy-O and I'm going to click Shadow Ball. I'm going to pick up this kill. And then he's going to go into Camerupt. If he goes into either of the other things, if he thinks that he can take a hit, he's wrong. And I'm going to just steamroll at that point. But if he goes into Camerupt, I got to go into Flygon. Because my Camerupt answer is still sitting at full. The only issue is Gastrodon. I got to make sure I can kill Gastrodon. But Stack, I hope I can handle. Because if Stakataka, no, Stakataka clicks Trick Room and then Gyro Ball, I can kill it with CC. If he just goes straight for Gyro Ball, I can still kill it with CC. This is going to be very scary. I don't think I've completely lost yet, but this is going to be tough. It's going to be a series of predictions. And Tempest is very, very good, so he's going to make the right ones. I'd also like to point out that this is going down at 8:26 a.m. because Tempest is from down under. So we got to do some creative scheduling. But what a way to start a Friday. Didn't need the coffee. Got the adrenaline pumping. This has been a fantastic match so far. With some amazing prep. I know that Pez helped him prep. Those two guys, very super solid. So that cough set, incredible. Dick Selgor, also, I mean, I knew exactly what it was, but I could have played around it. But, you know, very, very good stuff. But the Daddy-O is on the field. So we're going to see what he can do. Alright, Shadow Ball's going to come off. It's going to pick up Steela. He gets attack boost. Power to back camera up comes out. If it doesn't, I'm going to stay in. I know that stack wasn't like AV. He had to have been Metal Coat for that damage output with no Lorb damage. That Gastro was Fizz Def. No way he wasn't. But Gastro is a huge issue because he can start recovering up and stuff. And it'll be a nightmare, so. But the best case scenario is he just doesn't go into camera. If he's like max HP, like max special attack quiet, man, had I gotten some rocks up. Oh, I didn't even bring rocks to the mountain, never mind. I had various calcs on here for after rocks damage. I didn't bring rocks, but I'm an idiot. But if you come in, oh my god, it's just that Gastro. It's just that Gastro. If Camera Up comes in and he's max HP, no special defense, it is exactly a 50-50 shot to Oko. That, I don't know if I want to take that roll. Huh? Stakataka comes out. I saw you before. Gyro Ball did 40% to kill, and I did not see Life Orb. After Intimidate, which means the only thing you can be is Metal Coat. I am sitting, and you need that much investment. I am at +1. This Shadow Ball does 99.3% minimum, unless I'm screwing something up. But I'm gonna stand and click Shadow Ball. Yes. Okay. I think that's GG's. All right. Yeah. Oh, the Daddy-O. The Daddy-O. GG's, homie. That was huge. That Camera Up not coming out was massive. One more Shadow Ball is going to come off. Daddy-O is going to pick up the last kill. That's what I call a riveting win. GG's to Tempest. That was a great game. Oh, that was a whole lot of fun. Great way to start a Friday. Daddy-O putting in some absolute work in his debut. Picking up, I think, all 5 kills that I was able to get. So, attaboy Daddy-O. GG's to Tempest again. Thank you guys so much for watching this battle. If you enjoyed the battle, please be sure to leave a like down below. Leave a like for Tempest. He's an awesome dude and a great battler. Subscribe if you guys are new, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.